The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Hey everybody, Bryan McDonald of On Purpose Growth, and thanks for coming back to another episode of Seize Your Business. Today we have Joe Becht of Bellair on today, and we're going to talk about how to make a business last for 50 years and more. So Joe, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you give everybody a little background about yourself?
Well, background about myself is I've been in this industry. It's logistics. Now it's called logistics. When I entered it, it was called shipping and air freight. Mm-hmm. And I've been in it since 1988, so a good portion of my life. Yeah. And I bounced around from job to job after I graduated college from University of Iowa in 1986. And I did everything from, in that short span, I did real estate appraisal. I worked at the Mercantile Exchange as a runner and was beat up pretty badly there. And everything in between, did high interest loans. And then I fell upon this business and started as a driver with the intention of getting my master's degree, and now I own the company. So it's been quite an adventure.
Absolutely, yes. It sounds like it.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about Bellair and what Bellair does.
Well, Bellair does everything. It's a logistics company, and we do shipping. It started as a traditional freight forwarding company, which, you know, we just used airline planes. And this was, you know, we're going into our 50th year, so UPS was basically a trucking firm, and FedEx, Federal Express, what it was called in the inception, wasn't even founded at that point. And the company was built on shipping things on airlines, commercial airlines. Bellair does not own their own airlines, so it started with that, but now it's logistics has become the term since the late 90s, and we do everything from warehousing to fulfillment to traditional hard shipping, freight, small package courier work, running jobs here locally in Chicago, all the way to international jobs to all the different continents all over the world. Yes, so we have a network of agents all over the world and domestically here in the United States.
So there's just the business has evolved through
Yes,
years.
It has. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes.
So how the hell does a business survive 50 years?
Survive is the key point there.
Yeah.
It's all about survival. You think about what happened, and I think about all the experiences that we've gone through, and survival is definitely the key word. You just keep your nose to the grindstone, provide the best customer service out there, and it works out. And it's definitely, it seems like even there's always different challenges. You know, there were the challenges of deregulation at the end of the 70s and early 80s. And then the challenges of the integrated carriers that own their own aircraft. And then there were the challenges of companies just lowballing on rates, and it became very rate conscious, and this happened in the early to middle 90s, to where companies were just trying to undercut each other. And then in the late 90s, companies were doing package buyouts and going public, and the landscape changed dramatically, and it goes through all these waves. Now we're in a challenge of the industry is based on, I think a lot of industries nowadays are based on not focusing on a profit. It just seems
what do you mean?
It's, well, for example, I've been going out to Silicon Valley for years. We've had a very good customer base out there, and one of our largest customers is headquartered out there. And I've seen it grow exponentially, but what I've seen it's alarming to me, maybe not for a younger generation, because it's just so odd to me, is that, for example, like the startup. Okay. And you just have people throwing money at these companies hoping it sticks to the wall. Well, I encountered a company that, and it was definitely a showing how the landscape has changed in our industry again. And it was a carte blanche, a la carte service where, for example, if you order an item on Amazon, now which on a side note, Amazon is going into our industry as well, so that's a big change too. And Amazon actually plays a part in it, because has Amazon ever turned a profit? right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
that's where I'm getting at. Well, this company I went to visit was in San Francisco, and it was a very interesting concept because they were offering a service. So if you ordered a high ticket item and you needed to do a signature to be home.
Okay.
Well, you're not home now. Right now, you're working.
Yeah.
So you're not there. They would provide the signature for you. Now, in the interim, FedEx and some of these other larger companies have started this on their own, but this company would sign for you, hold it in their warehouse, and then there were tiered services on an app where you would subscribe on a monthly basis, and then you would have make sure the package was delivered to your residence when you were home.
Yeah.
Right. The point I'm getting to is I wanted to go into a partnership with this company, and it was a startup, and there was conversation. When the topic came up of how much money did you make last year, I was dropped like a hot potato, and that's what I've noticed a lot about the business climate recently is that companies seem to not want to make a profit. It just seems as though it's just throwing out content. Now I know there's certain if you have a brand that it becomes profitable, but if you don't have a brand, it seems like profit's not that important. So that's the latest hurdle we have.
Yeah.
But we stick to our traditional model we want to provide great customer service, and we want to have great hands-on ability in the logistics network. And that's what separates us from the competition. We have great employees, and we make the shipper feel as though they're a part of the shipping process. Not, I order, I don't care what I pay. And it comes back. And it's become very beneficial, and that's where we're going to survive another 50 years.
So how does so it sounds like focusing on the people is a key to surviving.
Yeah.
How has that evolved?
Focusing on the people, focusing on the niche. It's always been that way. We've always fit into some type of niche, but the niche has always changed. The game has always changed. The paradigm shift is that's the business term for it, and it's been something that we've always been able to adapt to, and that adaptation has come through different mindsets of people coming on board, myself included. So when I came on board, I was with older gentlemen who wanted to do something this way, but I was influenced by, as I referenced when my visits to the Silicon Valley, we had a very good person out there who was a mentor towards me. Okay. And they were mavericks in the fact that they were fortune tellers. They foresaw what the industry was going to become. And I really pushed for my bosses to go in this direction of logistics and warehousing, bringing the shipments in-house, having it stored. We charge a monthly fee, but provide a value-added service. Value is very important too. I think value is all-encompassing in that it's not only customer service. It's all-encompassing. It's all-encompassing that you're getting something of value. So that's another key. Definitely, they have to provide value. So that's one of the big adaptations we made in the '90s is to do fulfillment, to do warehousing, and that's where the industry has shifted. And
so you were slightly ahead of the curve.
Yes, definitely. And I'm not taking credit for it. I was influenced by a mentor, a business mentor, but I could see that it was going in that direction, and we decided to go that way, and that's where it really took us on. Because I'll tell you, over the 50 years of the company's existence and over my tenure since 1988, 9/11, still to this day, I think about it on a daily basis, how it has affected and shaped our industry, how there was a conscious effort by some people in the government there was actually literally an embargo for a month, or for a week, if you remember that. Airplanes are grounded.
Nothing moving.
But we had things in place where we were able to transfer things over the road, which we do quite frequently. And we had materials, we had the actual shipments in our warehouse. But since then, the TSA has been a big. We partnered with the TSA.
Okay.
But it was more of a combative relationship in the beginning, and you have to be classified. You have to classify customers as known shippers now ever since 9/11.
Oh, really?
There's different rules and regulations since then. So that was a huge obstacle. If I have to think back in the 50 years, that was probably the biggest challenge ever. And there was a program put in place. But once again, we survived.
How did you guys adapt?
We adapted by several ways. Every way from just following the rules, staying in contact with our local and national representatives with the TSA. And I personally visited Washington, D.C. on a fact-finding mission in 2008.
Oh, really?
Which was extremely eye-opening. Yes. So there was actually another gentleman in our industry, and we visited together. He was from New York, the New Jersey area. So we visited with congressional representatives in New York and New Jersey, and then also in Illinois because we were from Chicago. And it was quite eye-opening. It was we just went all over Capitol Hill, had different appointments. I never met with Senator Durkin, but I would meet with his staff, and it was very interesting. So that's how you do it. You have to cooperate, and that's another key to succeeding. Survival, but with survival you have to adapt, you have to cooperate, and you have to have that, and you have to have value in your product or service. That's the key.
So how do you guys look at customer service being a key ingredient to all this?
When we first talked before this interview, I was talking about emails and oh my gosh, yes. So I still much prefer to face-to-face. Yeah. And I don't like texting as much. I text as little as possible. And that's the way we like to do business. Okay. We want to make people aware. So we have the technology in place that makes the customer's life easier, but we don't rely solely on the technology, because when you call our office, one of our offices, there's a good chance, unless it's after hours, we're 24/7, 7 days a week. So you may get an answering service in the middle of the night, but you'll still get a return phone call from someone that's directly involved in the shipping of your product.
Really?
Yes.
Now,
that's a key. I mean, you're not press 1 for this, press 2 for that.
You're going to actually talk to someone.
You're not talking to a robot asking you questions. I didn't understand that. Yeah. Someone's going to still answer the phone.
And how has customer service in your industry changed or not changed at that?
It's become highly automated, and it becomes very frustrating.
Really?
I believe so, yeah. Because a lot of people just expect it to get there. You order something and you just expect it to get there, and you want to pay as little as possible. And that's fine for a lot of items, and I'm guilty of it as well. If I order something online, I just expect it to get there in a day or two, and if it doesn't, oh well. But if you have a legitimate problem, which I've run into also, and I've seen and encountered, and we clean up a lot of these problems as well. Okay. So if some other company was used and its shipment's lost, or it's stuck in customs, or whatever, we become the cleanup artists and fix the mess. Yes. So that's where it's key, and it's unfortunately that's the world we live in, where we become too dependent on the laptop, too dependent on the phone, too dependent on everything. I mean, in a million years, would you ever imagine that everything is on this thing in your palm? Your record collection, your books, your finances, it's sitting here. Yeah,
God knows where it's going to go, too, right?
I know. And I think it's great. I'm a huge music fan, and I had thousands of albums, and I sold the vinyl. Now vinyl's coming back because of the trend. Yep. There's a point to this. I'm not getting off topic, but it's awesome having the albums and the artwork and that smell and that feel. But it's also awesome having that entire collection that would fill 2 of these rooms in the palm of your hand, and you can just throw it in your car and listen to whatever you want.
Yep.
So, and that's, as a company, that's what we are. We have that convenience of that record collection in your hand,
Yep.
but we also have that customer service of the art.
Be able to feel it,
yes,
touch it, see it,
exactly.
experience it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than just, having it here. And it's like the difference between people who just go all towards technology and disregard the customer.
Correct.
They're just going to,
yeah.
it's like the piece of technology is the end-all, be-all. And you stop thinking about the people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And it sounds like to you, in your business, it's very heavily focused on people, interior and exterior. Exterior
Definitely.
being the clients.
Yes. Yeah.
So, well, cool. So it sounds like adapting to being adaptive in the marketplace, focusing on customer service to add value, and focusing on people are ways that kept you guys around for 50 years and beyond.
Yes, definitely.
Well, cool.
And as I told you, I could write a book.
Yeah, right.
Good and bad. I mean, it's everything. Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out for it. Right. We'll keep an eye out.
Well, I don't. We'll see. Yeah.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, thanks for being on, and thanks for everybody watching this episode of Seize Your Business podcast. If you'd like to reach out to Joe and learn more about his business and his journey, we'll be sharing all his information here, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.